Good morning, everyone. I, Srishti Singh, would like to welcome you all to the special session on UAVs for e-governance in India. The session will be headed by Dr. Vishnu Chandra. Dr. Vishnu Chandra did MSc in Physics, MPhil Instrumentation, and MTech in Electronics and Communication Engineering from the Indian Institute of Technology, Roorkee, between 1981 to 1986. He has more than 25 years of experience in ICT and geospatial services at NIC. Currently, he is the Deputy Director General and Head of the Group of Geospatial Technology and Service Division, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs Division, Power and Ministry of New and Renewable Energy Division, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change Division, Ministry of Labor and Employment Division, and Coal Division. His team delivers geospatial services using NIC's multi-layer GIS platform, Bharat Maps, including large-scale mapping. Recently, his team also received a Federation of Indian Chambers of Commerce and Industry Wiki National Geospatial Award for e-governance and planning. Now I request Dr. Chandra to please start your talk. Up to you, sir.
Thank you very much, and it is a proud privilege for me to be part of this conference, and I thank IIT Roorkee, particularly Dr. Kamal Jain and his team for inviting me for this special talk.
It's our
And
pleasure to have you, sir.
yeah, thank you very much. And in fact, previous session of Dr. Kamal Jain and Dr. Adrish has really set the foundation, and it makes me very happy that so much work is going on IIT Roorkee, and it gives a lots of opportunity for an organization like NIC to further collaborate also. So my discussion points today agenda will be, say, already lot of things, foundation things has already been talked, and something about drone, what, where, and what is the vision of NIC for that. Since NIC is a ICT play organization of government, what kind of framework of ICT for e-governance, framework for data collection, storing, sharing, data infrastructure, and open data initiatives, followed by what geospatial framework which we have, and certain case studies, certain important projects which are going on, which are using uh, various kind of mapping solutions, geospatial solution, including drone data, lidar data, and so many things. So this is what the flow of my discussion today. As told in previous sessions, there are various data platforms using satellite data, aircraft, drone, and ground surveying. Each has certain pros and cons, where it should be used, and I will not say that one is better than other. Each one has its importance, each one has its role, and it has to be used, and we should able to provide integrated geospatial solutions and services required by, say, in a e-governance spectrum. So satellite has extensive coverage, wide spectral capabilities. Though it is expensive data, relatively low resolution, data acquisition has certain frequency. Aircraft, definitely large single flight coverage, high resolution, wide spectral capability, but very expensive. And image timing controlled and operations susceptible to weather. Drone, definitely image acquisition on demand, very high resolution, unaffected by cloud cover, cost effective and safe, but it has a relatively smaller coverage. There are regulations attached to it. Definitely it is also affected by weather. Then ground survey gives the excellent positional accuracy, and though it is a very tedious process, labor intensive. So we have to use, when we provide geospatial solution, best of all of them together, wherever, whatever is possible, in a right mix and match. So this is what we say, that vision of UAV drone in e-governance to provide a platform for preparation of large scale map using drone for surveying and integration on portal for e-governance projects. In fact, certain ground information and foundation information has already been talked about about the processes and technology involved in this by Dr. Adrish. So the various applications like aerial photogrammetry, shipping and delivery, disaster management, weather forecast, and all these applications where drone survey process require GPS control points, drone survey using, there are things like we should go for our own drone or rented or drone as a service. Now, Ministry of Civil Aviation is also promoting and bringing a startup entrepreneur and incubators where drone data as a service can also be provided with pilots. Then processing, drone processing, process raster image output to 2D and 3D vector data, and drone data integration on portal. So NIC is now getting a lot of applications where real-time integration of data from field, from various platforms, including machine-to-machine transfer from IoT sensors, including by using drone and field survey techniques. So those kind of requirements, so from survey data capture to end delivery of systems and services. So that is now emerging, because around 10 to 15 years back, people used to feel that surveying and mapping or the capturing of data various through heterogeneous platform is not IT. But now everything is getting merged as a seamless process from survey, lot of API based solution where heterogeneous system can talk to each other. Lot of geoanalytics systems on web are being developed and used. Usage of UAV and drone, various sectors. Already a lot of things has been talked. Some of the sectors are mentioned here. Large scale mapping, change detection, monitoring of activities, then feature extraction like activity using AI and ML algorithms. Sectors could be urban mapping. We are using for drones in urban mapping, particularly in our NCR region. Railway mapping and inspection, precision agriculture, forest mapping and surveillance. We are already having a tie-up with Forest Survey of India, where plantation activity in compensatory afforestation land, we have to provide a solution. Currently, that solution, say getting a real-time image as per the life cycle of plantation is an issue. And for each of these plantation sites, there are certain attributes has to be collected and in every a certain frequency. So there we need a integrated solution where a WebMIS survey and data capture system real time, WebGIS platform and mobile based solution can work in sync for end-to-end delivery of services. Similarly, industrial plant and inspection of that, road and highways inspection, crime scene investigation, and also many things. Apart from that, there are projects which we have done, particularly in a telecom domain, where optical fiber route have been laid down from block to panchayat under BharatNet project, where we have created a backend data capture system on mobile, where a contractor follows certain routes as planned, and they send real-time information, and it is mapped on base map. But there are always an issues when we trying to bring mobile-based data capture with desired accuracy. Dr. Kamal Jain has also specified. So how can we bring a accuracy required for in such surveys, which is equivalent to as-built drawings? How can I create real-time as-built drawing when actual construction of fiber routes is going on? Now, these are the problems which need solutions. And though we are able to successfully create a role-based system where entire backend system for data capture, checker and maker system with complete roles, who are going to capture, who are going to approve, who are going to decide which route should be followed when. So all those backend systems in our GIS platform has been integrated, and it also successfully integrated with WebMIS systems and mobile systems in sync. But still, to achieve desired accuracies and desired solution with that level of precision from ground through mobile based systems or through whatever GPS and RTK based systems is on production scale requires lot of testing and lot of effort. That opens the what you call avenues for collaboration with academic institute like IIT Roorkee. NIC as an organization is a mandate, we are the technical technology partner of government, provide ICT infrastructure on demand, design and develop IT system for government, explore and advise on use of emerging technologies. We have large infrastructure which is being deployed for various e-governance applications and platform for Digital India initiative through our data centers and our cloud Meghraj, which some of the applications are listed here on NIC, what are available on NIC cloud. In fact, major challenge which we are able to achieve overcome is embedding geospatial services through API in workflows of existing ICT platforms, whether ICT platform for say PDS systems, for public finance management system, for Swachh Bharat Mission, for Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, map services through API, OGC compliant map services through API, and is extended and embedded from our cloud platform, from our GIS cloud. And many, in fact, development of such applications is done by multiple teams working in those platforms and in a federated and distributed manner. This is the pictorial view of NIC Foundation Network, NICNet or NKN. NKN connects more than 1,700 universities, institute and institute of excellence across the globe, including global internet connectivity to projects like CERN. We have a huge video conferencing infrastructure which is used for governance purpose, more than 1,000 VC studios across the country. We have large data centers, at least in 5, and mini data centers in every state for data exchange and sharing. We are managing all government websites and also at top of it as a core service Bharat Maps of NIC GIS platform. We also have a open data initiative where to implement, this is the platform data.gov.in, where large number of data sets and services have been put in public domain, and we regularly conduct data hackathons, and this data is available to developer community through APIs and data download. This has been done to implement National Data Sharing and Access Policy 2012, initiated by DST. Now, recently, new geospatial policy guidelines has been released. We would like to further strengthen open data platform in terms of spatial content, so that depending upon a positive list declared by various geospatial organizations and various ministries and departments. This is the framework which to integrate data from various sources for NIC GIS platform we are following. Our base reference of Bharat Maps is Survey of India base for 50,000 scale, and then it has been extended up to 10,000 scale with integration of imagery from ISRO, the Department of Space, and data sets from Forest Survey of India, soil organizations, groundwater organization, and non-spatial data from various other agencies and ministries and departments. So this platform is a continuously dynamic platform where at least Government of India point of assets information is being updated through various projects which is coming, and then it is being geotagged on our platform. This is what to give a comprehensive view of geospatial process and framework which we follow on NIC Cloud. Say, NIC is an organization which has to provide appropriate framework for cloud infrastructure, security framework, at top of it, a spatial framework for integrating heterogeneous systems. So we are carrying out systems of systems approach, which could be used in various sectors, and the by integrating various vertical through our API gateway framework. So energy services, financial services, postal services, transport system, 3D city mapping, land and develop land use systems, Swamitwa scheme, Jal board, slums, so many things. These are just the examples where we are trying to bring a lot of attribute information, lot of locational basis information on a reference cloud-based secured framework in the country. We have a Bharat Maps platform, which is around a global standards. We follow NSDI standards and various BIS standards as well to create satellite image service, base map service, hybrid map service for effective e-governance embedded with geospatial components. This platform is able to deliver mobile-friendly applications and well integrated with MIS systems, as well as, of course, GIS itself is there. All India base map, which is uniform from say 50,000 scale to 10,000 scale. Each village boundaries, village location is linked with what you call national standard LGD codes, location government directory, LGD, lgddirectory.gov.in, which provides a mechanism to assign unique location code to various administrative units across the country and its update process. Those locations get updated based on government order of change issued by revenue authorities in states. Means whenever new district gets formed, whenever new block get formed, notification is uploaded on this LGD platform with lookup tables, which set of villages with LGD code is part of which district and which LGD code is part of which district in change. Every day, new districts, new taluks, new mandals are created, and we use those lookup table to further update boundaries in our special database. We are now working on mechanism with Survey of India and State Revenue Authority through Ministry of Panchayati Raj for ground verification of such updates. Whenever new ULBs is formed, when habitation moves to a village or village moves to an urban area, those transition management and ground verification process as a workflow we are now trying to achieve. Lot of more than maybe 1.5 million point of interest data of government assets captured over the period of time. Geotagging and reverse geocoding services, GIS framework for data updates, and navigational services for nearest government locations. So this is what bharatmaps.gov.in in broad sense is providing. For around Bharat Map framework, we have a state GIS portal for every state and UT. We also have a map service portal where for government application, API based WMS and WFS services with complete metadata and process how a developer can integrate map service, REST-based map service in his own environment. If he is working, he's customizing his application using say JavaScript or Python or anything, those SOPs are also provided with sample applications on this platform, so that say developer at NIC, it is some sort of providing developer license of layers, say village boundaries and so many things, so that a developer sitting in a ministry can consume that map service and integrate it with his local application in same source code which he is, and also ministry update location and special of information which is coming through their mobile app on our Bharat Map portal for further sharing and usage in other verticals of the government of India or states. So this is what the process which has been provided there. latest scheme, people must have talked about the Swamitva scheme, which is using drone survey and drone data across India in a very big way. Let me talk about this scheme first. Survey of rural land of India for settlement and record of rights. See, since beginning, even during British time, the Abadi area in villages had never been surveyed. What they call it, Lal Dora land. Now, those properties, those property records has never been surveyed. They cannot, the owners of that cannot get any financial benefit in terms of loans and credits from banks. So there is no legal right of property to household and owner. So this is what Swamitva scheme through drone survey is trying to address. Objective is to provide an integrated property validation solution for rural India, leveraging property as a financial asset by the citizen for rural India, creation of accurate land records for rural planning, determination of property tax, creation of survey infrastructure and GIS map that can be leveraged by any other department for their use, reduce property dispute and legal cases. Now, these data sets advantages, very high spatial resolution. Drone survey, let me tell you, is done by Survey of India. Data integration, property card generation, Swamitva dashboard, platform services are provided by NIC. There is another component which I will come in subsequent slide, which is related to spatial planning, where already NIC has established a Gram Manchitra platform. And there, this drone data will also be integrated along with data from Department of Space. And we are also collaborating for spatial platform with many mentor institutes, including Department of Architecture of IIT Roorkee. So this is what a very, very huge canvas, which is coming time, opens up a lot of avenues for collaboration. Drone data feature extraction for property card. And let me tell you one thing, for this, record of houses is collected by State Revenue and Panchayati Raj Department, and then complete spatial framework template has been worked out, how the what you call attribution or feature ID collected in ROR will be linked here, and property card template for each state has been worked out, which are being distributed. And next round of distribution by Prime Minister will happen on Panchayati Raj Day on 24th April. What methodology has been adopted? Marking of boundaries on ground after due notice. So this is what the state government does. They go to Abadi area. Panchayat functionaries go to Abadi area with revenue functionaries, with sitting with the people who are living over there. They mark, they do the Chuna marking of property boundaries there, laying out standard operating procedure for various situations. Survey by drones after securing all due permission by Survey of India, processing of data captured through drone survey, production of high quality maps, dispute resolution. Now this process is currently on. Pilot phase has been done in 6 states, namely Uttarakhand, Uttar Pradesh, Haryana, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Karnataka. These 6 states has been being covered in pilot state. Now this project is going to be planned to be covered entire country. In parallel, Survey of India is setting up the course. Basically, course network has been done by Survey of India for various projects. Under Swamitva project, the gap funding for course wherever it has not been done, like National Hydro Project along the Ganga route, already course has been set up. But that course setup will be integrated with the setup being created under Swamitva scheme, so that uniform course points are available across the country, and course data as a service can also be provided by Survey of India, for which NIC and Survey of India is also collaborating. What kind of platform we can provide, we can work together for making course points available as a service to various users in industry, in academia, and everywhere. Outcomes of the project: rural Abadi area would be mapped using drone. We will generate high resolution, large scale map, accurate map with ownership property rights. These will be distributed to owners as a property card. The maps would be the basis to plan required. It will be used for planning purpose also. It would enable geotagging of the features with a property ID. Okay, whether a property is a school, whether the property is a Anganwadi, whether it's a property of even GP Gram Panchayat Bhavan. Use of drone images interface with attribute survey information to provide deep insights in planning for Gram Panchayat development plan. Use of elevation data captured using drone survey to generate digital elevation model to plan, say, water supply networks, roads, and so many things which are required now, because there is a aim of government how we can extend smart services to village areas like in urban sector. So generation of survey surface model to generate walkthrough of a study area and visualization of area for effective planning. Already some of these concepts in detail and technical details Dr. Kamal Jain and Dr. Ambrish has already covered. Gram Panchayat development planning, grammanchitra.gov.in. This portal is already available. It already integrates base map from 50,000 scale to 10,000 scale, large scale imagery up to 50 centimeter. Data from, we are getting data from various verticals, like school data is coming from school GIS, bank data is coming from financial GIS, telecom data is coming from telecom GIS, and also collaborating with ISRO for Bhuvan layers to be integrated here. Recently, with 17 mentor institute for 34 panchayats, including Department of Architecture, IIT Roorkee, we have shared certain base data to create model spatial plans for those panchayats. So those studies, those experience will be strengthening these kind of platforms. We have this is an example which we have done for Land and Development Organization of Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, eDharti Geo Portal, where all Delhi land coming under Land and Development Office have been mapped in 1:1000 scale, and there we have used ground data validation and verification system using what you call Trimble technology catalyst, and provided this property card interface with all facilities of mutation, transactions, and so many other things. Slum rehabilitation is a project done for Mumbai Slum Rehabilitation Authority, where complete workflow of integrated with slum mapping using LIDAR data and the role-based platform giving access to architect, developers, so that they can apply for the scheme, and back-end process of approval of the scheme with access, mobile-based access to actual owner, so that he can monitor the status of his hut and where he is going to get a house in lieu of that. So complete workflow end-to-end, which integrate city master plan, all micro plans on a common platform with accurate data of what you call land records also. And let me tell you one thing, most of the data coming from various verticals like settlement and land department, all those data is integrated through APIs. So those API servers, verticals, are managed by concerned department and concerned agencies. So we have created a standard. Once base framework of GIS is in place, base framework of data capture is in place, the other attributes get integrated through API around agreed standards. So this is what the process which we are following through using NIC cloud infrastructure and services. Greater Noida, we have as well as Noida Authority and YEDA, we are doing a project, one map, one Greater Noida, one map, one Noida. So where large scale mapping is done, we have established course at Noida and GNIDA, control points by RTK GPS, point cloud data and ortho mosaic and in a GeoTIFF format, digital surface model, digital terrain model in GeoTIFF file format, export to photogrammetry block for stereo viewing for DEM editing and 3D features, collection of preparation of digital maps. Large scale maps also, it is not only map, it is also geotagging of GNIDA or Noida assets. It is also involved capturing of utilities and various plans, sector plans, plots, khasra, and so many things. Also creating a dashboard for them and application like vehicle tracking for mechanical sweeping trucks, where real-time feed through GPS devices mounted on vehicles are being monitored, and you can see with proper navigational facilities on map on their dashboard. So large number of applications, integration of IoT and GPS device, accurate base map using drone data also. So integration of utility and project information. This project information is being integrated through the from various vertical through API managed using what you call GNIDA ERP system, geotagging, drone data integration with layouts and MIS information along swipe spotlight tools, advanced network analysis, queries and departmental queries also, reference images for directions and detailed routes, various GIS queries like proximity, nearby facilities and so many things, proximity analysis, land acquisition report, khasra information. All these things has been covered in these projects. We are now, as I said, we are going forward with say certain applications which I talked about, particularly say forestry, certain projects like in precision agriculture, like crop insurance, crop vulnerability mapping. There are projects which deals with, say, let me tell you, most of the projects in NIC is come as per the user requirements. So we try to see first what user needs, then do the reverse engineering, what technology, what service system, what platforms, what process has to be developed. Now, we have projects which in say Environment and Forest Ministry, which deals with the what you call environmental clearance, forest clearance, wildlife clearances, and so many things, where a proponent who is applying for these clearance, that becomes a front end. But at back end, I have to give a facility to proponent, say, to know your area. So to know your area in terms of environmental and forest resources, plantation resources, in terms of eco-sensitive zones, in terms of protected area zones, whether he is applying at right place, at right location or not. If he goes to his area of interest, he should get an alert what kind of clearances he is needed, what kind of forms he has to be filled, he is going to fill. Based on location and proximity information, his application get auto-populated. Now, then based on decision rules, he gets the alert. Similar framework, say similar interface to be made available to environmental committees to take a decision whether particular proponent activity should be allowed or not. Now, these kind of applications which we are generally get. Another application is, I said, monitoring of plantation under compensatory afforestation project. Now, the plantation monitoring, the entire backend system, where maybe through satellite imagery, I need real time series satellite imagery to monitor the spatial extent of plantation submitted by state forest department officials. And what is is there any violation? Is there any conflict between revenue and forest land? Is there any conflict between tribal land and forest land? Now, all those kind of things has to be monitored based on accurate plantation area mapping. Now, what kind of technology we can interject? What kind of processes we can, as a part of workflow. So entire workflow re-engineering based on role-based user authentication module, creating a system where WebMIS, WebGIS, and mobile-based ground system can work in sync, as Dr. Adrish said. So that production environment we have to build. And there is a lot of scope in terms of identifying right algorithms, right process at right place for right user. So this is what we are now trying to address. This slide is a some sort of a very high level vision which we are trying to, and this vision is, this slide is depicting a context with respect to rural spatial planning in Panchayati Raj. But we are trying to say that the country needs a capacity to use technologies, emerging technologies, emerging survey technologies, need a capacity, and there are infrastructure available with organization like NIC, organization like ISRO, and many other organizations, and also entities in private sector and academia. We can establish, because already NKN is there. NKN has a reach in 1700 plus institutes with high speed bandwidth. We can create a national geospatial technology grid for exchange, where academia can support in terms of mentoring of the applications, industry can support in terms of technology, and government organizations and various other entities can share their data and expertise to build capacity for spatial planning at grassroots level. So this is what we are proposing. Already these discussions are being done, and it is creating a lot of scope for future collaboration. And finally, this is my last slide. India has a huge organizational and institutional system in government as well as private sector to harvest geospatial solutions potential for economic development of the country. There is a need to bring and harness potential of technologies like UAV drone for large scale mapping and integrate with workflows or governance system using web-based geospatial platform and analytical tools like AI, ML, big data analytics, so many things. This will bring real digital transformation and empower governance systems and service delivery to citizens at their locations or doorsteps. In context of new geospatial policy guidelines and other related policies reforms to liberalize geospatial sector, collaboration and cooperation for sharing and exchange of geospatial data, services and spatial knowledge among government agencies, industries, academia becomes very important and essential. So what I am trying to say is geospatial or geography, we call it a science of, it is a by default is a science of parallel processing. We call it science of where. And why geography is by default a science of parallel processing, because we see every man-made and natural phenomena interact with a location almost in parallel, in real time. Whereas science of computing is sequential. The various algorithms which were used for image processing, for large data processing, were there since 60s. Concept of AI, ML was there quite some time. But because there was a limitation of computing power, limitation of network speed, we are not able to process those, use those algorithms to its full potential. Now, all the algorithms dealing with supervised, unsupervised classification, mosaicing and image processing, feature extractions, there are technologies available with desired speed and data center infrastructures, which we can now tap today to get real-time data feeds from ground and cache it real time on WebGIS platform. So I say geospatial or geography is science of where. IoT, sensors, drone, All these technologies is science of what? AI, ML, big data analytics is uh, IoT drone sensors is science of when, and AI, ML, digital analytics, and all that is science of what. So we need for a system to integrate science of where to science of when and science of what as a single ecosystem for governance system. With these words, I conclude. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for this very interesting session. It is indeed very important for all of us to know how the government is using the geospatial technologies for the ease and smooth working.
Thank you.
So we have received a couple of questions. Let's quickly go through them.
Yeah.
One of our viewers, Mr. Puyam Singh, asked, can we have the OGC data server URLs currently being served from NIC? We wish to consume some of it on our e-governance applications.
Yes, it is possible, and we can discuss this, because currently, most of these map services on map service portal were giving through what you call LDAP system, those who having government emails, because we have put that restriction. Maybe in future time it may be available in open domain once geospatial policy is there. See, NIC get the data from multiple sources. Ownership of data lies with, says, Survey of India layer is from Survey of India, ISRO layer from ISRO. If they declare their data as an open data, then I can make these map services available in a public domain to be consumed by any app developer. But today, what is the scenario is, those people, those NIC developers working for e-governance project through a login password, what happens? Say person comes from map service portal, he log in through his government email ID, and he visualize the data layers available as a WMS or OGC compliant service. He fill a requisition form against a IP address or URL, initially for development purpose, later for production purpose. He specify that, and he gets the URL of map service with a security token, his email account, which he can use. And portal also has sample source codes, sample API documents, all those things are library is available. So he can consume that service against a IP address for say up to 6 months for development purpose. And once his application is through, if he has to launch that on production server, he can get the URL and token, security token for production server. So this is what the process has been followed. So if we can still work out, if anybody is interested in particularly in IIT Roorkee to consume our service.
So another question from Dr. Akash Sondhi.
Yes.
His question is, what are your top 3 challenges in your journey to what you are aspiring for?
This is an interesting question. See, I am dealing with geospatial since early 90s. That was a time when there was even hardware, software, data, all the things related to GIS used to be proprietary. Then in mid 90s, situation come. So initially the challenge which we face is definitely data, availability of data, and mainstreaming of geospatial technologies as a mainstream IT. This was the initial stage way back in early 90s. And in mid 90s, technology change has happened. Windows revolution came. Desktop client server technologies has emerged. Government of India has identified 10 institutes, including NIC, to digitize topographic maps. We started developing in-house GIS software tools also in desktop environment, including NIC, DST, NIC was developing that time GISNIC, DST was developing Gram Plus, ISRO GIS was from ISRO. We started doing certain pilots project that time. Then came WebGIS and internet era, where data harmonization has become a big challenge. And mid 2000, Planning Commission has taken with NIC how we can harmonize spatial data from say 50,000 topo sheet, which were available in DGN format, integrating ISRO imagery, which was available up to 5-meter pan data, and then how we can stream it. So between 2004 and 9, we have done that. We have worked with Survey of India for ground verification of village boundaries, to create national GIS platform where we can stream it. It is prior to arrival of Google. All that has happened. Once Google came and concept of crowdsourcing and come, that has opened up lot many things, but it has also led to more challenges in terms of quality, accuracy, and integration part of it.
So we have another question. Am I audible?
Yeah, audible.
Yeah.
Previous question. At the
Yeah.
end, I will say now we are talking about how to integrate various verticals on a common platform, API-based integration, service integration, and how to have a faceless service. These are the new challenges. And what I am aspiring is definitely aspiring for large scale seamless base map of the country, where each asset as a service is available with near real time updates of the data, and its integration and even attribution process as per various domains of planning should also be automated in some way or other. So there is a lot of work required for standardization, lot of requests at a data level, at service level, at technology level. We have to have a lot of work in terms of reference framework and technology standardization.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir, for this wonderful session. I would like to close this session now, and I request our viewers to continue watching the other keynote sessions subsequently.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.